It is that time for my response to a tweet. And today's tweet says, Trump will keep this country safe with his toughness. You would do well to follow. Trump will, it's hard to say it sometimes. Trump will keep this country safe with his toughness. You would do well to follow. Wow. I tell you, a Trump supporter is a very, very interesting American. Very, very interesting. Trump's toughness. Man, it's deja vu all over again. But anyway, let me, sometimes you got to build a clock so you can tell somebody what time it is. So just bear with me. I'm going to get to this. This is the problem with a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter is not taking in account of anything outside of their emotions. See, they're just like Trump. See, Trump is the kind of person that gets this idea in his head, and he will do everything, lie, kill, steal, cheat, whatever, to make that point be true. If that's his thought process, he's going to do everything he can to make it be true. A Trump supporter is just like this. No wonder they get along. But this is the problem with the Trump supporter, is that they don't understand life outside of their emotions. They don't. They don't understand logic and reason outside of their emotions. Here's where I'm really going with this. There's 6 million ways to die, and they voted for one. But they don't see that because they think he's tough. Let me show you something. Okay. Imagine, what is the first 2 most important things to do to save somebody's life if they're on a bridge or a building and they're about to jump off? What's the most important thing to know about that person that's about to jump off in order to get them, to negotiate them off of the ledge? First, you have to know, do they have something to live for? If you're armed with knowing what they have to live for, you'll be able to use that information to talk them off of killing themselves. The second thing you want to know is if they want to make it home, if they want to go home. Do they have a family at home? What's happening? Is there a place they want to get back to? Home. And you want to use that information, and you want to use that to talk them off of killing themselves. I know you're sitting here going, where's Phil going with this? See, what your Trump supporters are not asking, and Trump is walking us into with his so-called toughness, is you're talking to some suicidal people. See, here's something about a radical Islamic terrorist that Trump and Trump supporters does not take into consideration. I do. Don't make me a punk or anything. It makes me smart. Before I go start poking and slapping beehives. See, a radical Islamic terrorist buys a one-way ticket. He's not trying to make it back home. What he has to live for is way different than how an American is raised or a Christian is raised. See, an American and a Christian or somebody like that, we're raised and trained to make it back home. When our soldiers go off to war, their mindset is, I want to come back home. We buy round-trip tickets. We train a round-trip mindset. We want to come back home. We have something to live for. Our raggedy car, our raggedy house, it means something to us. Our dog, our cat, our family, our gardens. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we want to come home for. So we train like that. Our law enforcement trains like that. Radical Islamic terrorists doesn't train like that. They don't train to want to come home. They want to train to go to heaven and get virgins. They want to be, they get rewarded for the actions that they create, but they only buy one-way tickets. So your so-called tough guy and your emotions are not taking that into consideration. Donald Trump says he's going to ban these people from coming over here. What he's not taking into consideration, which you're not taking into consideration, is the ones that's already here. So now you keep one of their family members at the airport. You have now wronged them and you're being unfair. Do you understand how they think? They will go blow up a whole shopping mall so they can get their one family member out of the place that you got them stopped at the airport, thinking you doing something. There's millions of them jokers right here. And if you haven't did the math, Mr. and Mrs. Emotional, Trump is a God person. It only takes one or two of them people to disrupt anything. Do you understand the reasoning why they go and do what they do? Have you ever thought, calmed your butt down and try to find the reasoning why they do it so that you don't go slapping the beehive and to get stung? All Donald Trump is doing is making them buy and cash in go buy their one-way ticket. Yeah, you're keeping the ones out, but you're giving energy to the ones that's already here. 2 of them, San Bernardino. 1 of them in Tennessee. 1 of them in Orlando, Florida. 1 of them. There's millions of them here. They're here now. But see, your emotions won't allow you to put that kind of rationalization in. So when Donald Trump goes and slaps the beehive, and you want to call him all tough, he has a bee suit on. He's covered. He's protected. He's got Secret Service. He's got NSA. He's got this. He's got thousands of people watching him. They go ahead of time to make sure that none of the beehive is there to sting him. So when he does that, guess what? Are they making sure that none of the beehive is at the mall? What about your kids' Little League game? What about the Boy Scout troop that they're going to? See, you're not taking none of that stuff into consideration. I'm not saying that we need to be a bunch of punks, but we do need to be smart and wise. Because being tough is not a strategy. That's not a strategy. Pissing people off is not a plan of action. Chin-checking our allies is not good for us. So how many ways are you guys willing, how many casualties, American casualties, are you Trump supporters ready to be able to withstand while you keep supporting this guy's idiotic non-policy? His policy is what? I promised it on a campaign. That doesn't mean that's a promise I don't want you to keep. It's too much collateral damage in Donald Trump keeping his promises. Millions of Americans are set up to die because Donald Trump wants to go and take his big old stick and start beating the beehive while he's got his bee suit on, but he's not making sure none of his supporters have bee suits. We are set up to be stung by the ones that's here. While you guys are applauding like broke seals, Donald Trump is tough, while you applauding like some broke seals. Are you thinking, people? Donald Trump's campaign promises is coming from a TV personality that found a group of people to love him to death and clap regardless, and he can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and still not lose any support. His campaign promises is based on a reality TV show host, instead of funding the politicians, now trying to be one. People, you guys got to wake up and understand. I'll give you another example. The Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge was built. Somebody died on the Golden Gate Bridge. Might have been 10, 50 people that died. They still built the bridge. Collateral damage. We applaud the bridge. We didn't stop building it because people died. Empire State Building. People died building that building. We didn't stop it when somebody died. Collateral damage. So when Donald Trump goes out here and fulfills his campaign promise, and people start dying, how many Americans is it cool with to die so Donald Trump's campaign promise can come through? How many of us Americans have to die so that this reality TV show guy, now the president of the United States, his supporters feel good? Are you cool with your children dying? Are you cool? Are you cool? All you Trump supporters, are you cool with your children dying at the hands of the people that's here that can sting you while Donald Trump is pumping his chest that he kept a campaign promise and stopped some terrorists that ain't even never did anything over here while he let all his buddies that did skate through? Is Donald Trump worth that support? Because guess what? The ones that did sting us in the United States of America, Donald Trump said it's cool for them to come, while he stopped a whole bunch of people to help fulfill his campaign promise. He's swatting the beehive. They're buying one-way tickets. And I wonder if you Trump supporters are cool with Americans like yourself being stung. There's not enough epinephrine for everybody, and if not, they want the EpiPen to cost $600. Donald Trump's business boys. Hey, I'm Phil Williams. Man, you guys are incredible. This is my response to your tweet on the Phil Williams Show.